Styczniowe premiery. 9 minut materiał od IGN-u.
Buddy, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that 2026 will be here any day now. It might have even started. The bad news is that it's starting off with January. Boo, January. But hey, at least some new games are coming out for you to spend your hard-earned money and or recently received gift cards on. Here are January 2026's biggest game releases. Before we get started, I say this every month, but just in case you're new here, we do our very best to make these videos accurate and up-to-date, but release dates do change last minute. Games sometimes just show up out of nowhere, and every once in a while, we make a mistake because we're only human beings. So for best results, always check your local listings, or just scroll down and see what people are yelling at us for in the comments. On January 5th, Dune Crawl comes to PC, which is a top-down co-op action adventure where you and up to 3 friends play as adorable little critters as they explore an open world on board a large crab robot thing. If you'd prefer to do some co-op exploration from a first-person perspective in a more realistic deep space setting with a side of survival and crafting, there is also Star Rupture on PC a day later. On January 13th, our first Japanese game with a comically long title of the year hits Switch, and it's a visual novel called Temirana, the Lucky Princess, and the Tragic Knights. And with 5 handsome Tragic Knights...
Czy tylko ja mam tak, że jak chodzą gierki na Switcha, to nawet jakbym miał tego nowego Switcha, to by mnie nie interesowało tak kompletnie, bo większość gierek na Switcha jest nudna. Tak tylko ja, okej. By the way, będę musiał w końcu kupić sobie ten adapter i bajonety i ograć bajonety na Switch. Kolejne wydatki w tym roku, ja PD. Czemu bajonety nie mogą wyjść na PC-ta?
Choose from. Temirana is certainly one lucky princess. On the 14th, there's Street Dog BMX, which clearly involves streets and BMX bikes, but I don't see any dogs. But hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Maybe they'll add dogs later.
Powiedziałeś to siedząc przed PC-tem, pisząc na klawiaturze podłączonej do PC-ta. Chcesz grać w ligę, która jest PC-tową gierką.
That one's on PC for now. Still that day, there's The Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon, which manages to speedrun...
A to jest coś, co ciebie może interesować, tak? Bo ty lubisz te wszystkie trailsy. 14. W ogóle, bo skoro ty jesteś taki trailsowy i tak dalej, trailsy są jakoś... Pewnie zadałem to pytanie z 3 razy lub 4 lub 10, ale trailsy są połączone jakoś ze sobą, czy po prostu każda gierka to inne story? Tak, są połączone, okej. Czyli jak kiedyś chciałbym zagrać w trailsy, to musiałbym od samego początku najbardziej zacząć. Ile jest tych części? Sky First, Sky SC, Sky First, Zero, Azure, Cold Steel 1.4, Reverie, Kuro 1 i 2, Kai, czyli raz, 2, 3, 4, 5... 9, 10, 12, 13. I to będzie 14. Stary, jak ja chciałbym to ograć, to już miałbym plany na streamki na 2027 i 2028 i 2029. To jest Kai, okej. No to licząc spin-off i tak 14. No ale... Mówię, z 3 lata ja bym ogrywał te wszystkie części. A pewnie by wyszły kolejne. Dosłownie mógłbym... Dobra, ale KH, na spokojnie ogram wszystko w tym roku. Trailsy, no... Kingdom Hearts przejdę. To jest moje jedno z postanowień na ten rok. Przejść Kingdom Hearts, dołączyć do tego kultu tej gierki.
5 SEO-friendly video game title words, but in all fairness, the Legend of Heroes series has been doing this longer than we've had search engines, kicking off way back in 1989 with Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes, and spinning off into the Trails sub-series in 2004 with The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. This latest one is a follow-up to The Legend of Heroes Trails in Daybreak 2, and while the naming convention is a little confusing, if you keep following a trail towards Daybreak long enough, you will eventually wind up beyond the horizon. So, scientifically, checks out. That one's coming to both PlayStations, both Switches, and several trillion variations of compatible personal computers. Speaking of Horizons, a day later, Animal Crossing New Horizons gets even more New Horizons by way of a free update that adds a bunch of new features, new story content. You'll be helping manage a hotel for Cap'n and his revolting family, and also
Dobra, Animal Crossing kojarzy mi się tylko z tym, że jak na studiach poznawałem jakąś typiarę, która grała w gierki, w 90% o jeden... Nie mówię o grach, mimo że mówiła, że gra w gry w liczbie mnogiej, to zawsze grała po prostu w Animal Crossing. I mi się Animal Crossing przez to kojarzy z typowo kobiecą gierką.
There'll be some quality of life tweaks like a bigger inventory for you to store more rocks and stuff in. But wait, there's even more than that. This day also sees the release of the enhanced Switch 2 version, which adds a bunch of better graphics and new features like webcam. support that takes advantage of the Switch 2's webcam that some people bought. Odds are, if you give a hoot about Animal Crossing, you've already got a copy of this game. And the good news is it'll only cost you $4.99 to upgrade for the Switch 2 version. It'd be nice if the upgrade was free, but $5 is a hell of a lot cheaper than some of Nintendo's previous upgrade packs, so I'll take it. I won't
Ej, za
personally
$5
take it because
upgrade,
this game gave me
spoko.
an existential crisis during lockdown after I realized how much actual yard work and chores I wasn't doing because I was doing yard work and chores on a virtual island, but you guys have fun with your virtual islands, and I mean that. Speaking of existential crises, on the 16th, there's Broken Lore Unfollow, a first-person psychological horror game where you play as a teen who's been cyberbullied so badly it's
Ej, szczerze, dawno nie ogrywałem żadnego horroru takiego psychologicznego. Może to byłby czas na to, żeby ograć jakiś horror niedługo. Bo co, ostatnie to było Visage?
manifested as a surreal nightmare hellscape filled with supernatural poltergeists and things like that. That one's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. On January 20th, there's Mio, Memories in Orbit, a gorgeous hand-drawn Metroidvania that's coming to PC, all the newer consoles, and the OG Switch. On the 21st, there's Lort on PC, an unfortunately named game because if you try to Google it, just autocorrects to LOTR and pulls up a bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff. Lort, on the other hand, is a 1 to 8 player co-op action roguelite that seems to have a considerably sillier sense of humor than that stuffy old Johnny Ronnie Rule Tolkien. Though, fun fact, Tom Bombadil, that character who is not in the movies but takes up way too much of the first book, was actually inspired by this doll that Tolkien's son kept flushing down the toilet. That's a true story. Tom Bombadil, named after a toilet puppet. Look it up.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
On January 22nd, there's Arknight's Endfield, a free-to-play action
No będą pulki robione. Tego 22 stycznia. No będą, no. Już postaną. Nie. Stanąłby mi, jakby tutaj były Dark Souls 4. Stary, ja już bym spodnie ściągał i gacie ściągał i musiał kamerkę wyłączyć. No. Jakby Dark Souls 4 miało premierę w styczniu, no oj.
RPG follow-up to the popular 2019 tower defense game. That one is coming to mobile, PC, and PS5. I don't actually know if that first game was popular, but it's getting a sequel, so that means it probably is. Dynasty Warriors Origins gets a major update on the 22nd with the Visions of Four Heroes expansion, which is coming to all the platforms the game is
Kompletnie
already on,
zapomniałem
as
o tym,
well
że
as
to
Switch 2,
istnieje.
where the full game is dropping that very same day as well. Hey, I got a great idea for another Nintendo Muso game. Die Nasty Warriors! Just make Mario and friends beat up a bunch of Wario clones. I'm sorry, is that a stupid idea for a video game? Well, so was a tactical strategy game where Mario and friends fought raving rabbids with guns, and that one worked out well enough to get a sequel. You know what else is a stupid thing to fight? A giant house. But Final Fantasy VII pulled it off, and then somehow pulled it off again even better in FF7 Remake, and still on the 22nd, Xbox Series and Switch 2 owners can experience one of the most absurd boss fights of all time when they battle the Hell House in FF7 Remake Intergrade. And if they want to play by house rules, there's a new streamlined mode that'll max out your whole party's stats and make you do ridiculous damage so you don't have to worry too much about fighting, and instead you can focus on the important stuff in the video game, which is making all of the pretty people with the nice hair collect pretty dresses and flirt with each other. I am fresh out of jokes and bad puns about the Roman Empire after all the blurbs I had to write last year for Anno 117 Pax Romana, but you can carpe the hell out of the diem and veni vidi vici to your heart's content in Nova Roma, a low-poly Roman city builder from the studio behind Kingdoms and Castles that hits PC on the 22nd. Still on that day for MetaQuest is Orcs Must Die by the Blade, which reinvents the tower
gierki
defense
na
experience as a
VR.
virtual reality one. And then there's the cute, cartoony, turn-based RPG Hermit and Pig, which is coming to PC. Finally, on the 22nd, the modern indie cult classic Cult of the Lamb gets a major DLC expansion with Woolhaven, which adds new characters, dungeons, and will have you rebuilding an entire town. No big deal. That's supposed to be pretty huge, almost as big as
Cult of the Lamb. Ta gierka jakoś żyje tak fajnie, czy ona już jest takim sezonowym, że jak pojawia się patch, to ludzie wracają do tej gierki, bo na Twitchu widzę, że dużo ludzi, ale no Twitch też żyje tym, że no jest zintegrowany z Twitchem Cult of the Lamb, więc no tak to nie wiem, jak to tam wygląda z graczami. Nigdy mnie nie interesowała ta gierka.
the base game, and it'll be on everything that Cult of the Lamb is already out for. On the 23rd, Escape from Ever After is another turn-based RPG that takes place in a storybook setting and draws heavily from Paper Mario and will be playable on basically everything. Also that day, the 4-player RPG brawler Banquet for Fools leaves early access on PC. On the 26th, Highguard drops for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. This is the PvP multiplayer game from a bunch of ex-Respawn devs who worked on Apex Legends and Titanfall, and
O, Rubin. W to gramy 26, co nie? Bo ty chciałeś tam w to pograć na Game Awardsach, jak to pokazali, i ja też chciałem, więc chyba gramy, co nie?
This one lets you shoot stuff and run around like you can in those games, but in this one, it's in a fantasy setting and you can ride on a bear. Speaking of bears, a day later, the Urso-centric bullet hell roguelite Rightfully Berry Arms, which has been in early access since 2023, gets a full release on PC and will make its way to Xbox Series as well. A day after that, which is the 28th, PC players can get the rhythm-based RPG Steel Sentry Groove, which involves competitive mech dance-offs. Still that day on PC, plus mobile and PS5, is the Seven Deadly Sins Origins, the open-world action RPG based on the hit anime series, which is based on the hit timeless list of bad human qualities: grumpiness, sleepiness, bashfulness, happiness, dopiness, sneezing, or being a doctor. Actually, that's dwarves, not sins. I got that completely backwards. On the 29th, the comic book-inspired isometric crafting-based survival horror I Hate This Place comes to Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. A place that some people might hate is hanging off the side of the cliff, but other people are into that, and those people might enjoy Cairn, a colorful mountain climbing game on PC and PS5, which is out that day as well. Enjoy Cairn, a colorful mountain climbing game on PC and PS5, which is out that day as well. January 30th is a good day for vampire games. First, there's Code Vein 2, the post-apocalyptic anime Souls-like. If you didn't play the first one, rest assured this is a new story and a fresh jumping
Code Veinik! Boże, czy ja będę chciał to ogrywać? Nie wiem. Mam mieszane uczucia. Z jednej strony czekam, z drugiej strony nie wiem.
on point. And if you did play the first one, rest assured you can still visit the bathhouse with your favorite scantily clad NPCs. That one's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. If you want a more conventional Western sanguinarian simulator, Vampire's Bloodlord Rising hits early access on PC, and that'll have you exploring a spooky open world, sucking up to the locals, attracting some thralls, and doing a fair amount of interior decoration at your cool castle. So I suppose you could potentially put in a bathhouse. I don't know if you can visit it with scantily clad NPCs, but it's in early access still, so I guess anything is possible. And there you have it, a look ahead at the first games of 2026. It's gonna be a good year for video games. If you
Dobra, to tak stycznia, to ten psychologiczny horror zobaczę sobie, w sensie nie wiem czy będę nagrywać, ale zobaczę najpierw jak się przyjmie w ogóle, bo może być po prostu nudny i jak będzie ciekawie się prezentował, to może ogram. Arknightsy, Highguard, demo tego horroru jest tak chcesz sprawdzić. No i po co ty mi mówisz takie rzeczy? Highguard na pewno będzie grany, bo wygląda ciekawie. No i ten Code Vein mam mieszane uczucia. Z jednej strony chcę, z drugiej strony gdzieś się wstrzymuję. Ale to może przez to, że teraz ogrywam AI Limit i dwie z rzędu AI Souls-like i gierki, to no później pewnie zagram, ale nie wiem czy na premierę będę ogrywać. To się zastanowię.